Hi, here is my cast on the brief history of corporations, shares, and layoffs in the series of IT management. And that's the number 13 because actually I wanted to start this series with very basic questions like what is science or what is computer science. But today, in early 2023, the topic of layoffs is unfortunately dominating the minds of people in IT. So here we are. Prehistory. In the early 17th century, the English and the Dutch sent their first trading expeditions to India in 1600 and 1602, respectively. The sea trade was not a novel idea at that time, well known to Phoenicians, Greeks, Arabs. Have you ever heard of Sinbad the Sailor? But the terms that we speak about came from Europe. A ship fully loaded with goods to trade was an expensive enterprise. So often, several traders joined their funds to finance one. Makes sense, right? And that was the first prototype of a corporation, more precisely, for profit corporation. Essentially, it was a partnership which was well known before the word corporation was used. The companions put their shares together, and that's why shares which we can trade today are called shares. They literally share in the business. In those simple-minded times, if the ship returned, the profit was split between the companions proportionally to their shares. If not, the investment and, well, the shares became a loss. That's it. You may ask, where are the layoffs in that story? Simple. If pirates, they were not called investment fund managers yet, boarded the ship during its journey and afterwards they had the assets, goods, which were on board, and they had the crew. The crew was clearly a cost center. So the pirates made a tough decision of right-sizing the ship and eliminating the cost center by laying the crew off the board into the ocean with sharks. That's what layoffs looked like in those ancient times. And then come the industrial age. In the industrial age, as time passed, the industrial age began. Now you are a capitalist, not a trader. As such, you have three main material assets: the land, the equipment, and the workforce. All three require expenses. For the land, you pay the tax. Your equipment needs maintenance, and your workforce needs salaries. You produce 1 million hex nuts per year and sell it. Now the economy had turned south, and you can sell only 750,000 hex nuts per year. How do you stay profitable? Giving up the land is a bad idea. You don't get that much of the economic downturn in the economic downturn. It's just cheaper, and it's a big question if you can acquire it back when the economy will recover. Besides, this is a one-time amount which you get by selling the land, and you don't know how long the downturn will last. So it doesn't help much. Similarly, nearly no one needs your equipment. So selling it's tough. And it won't even cover the original costs of the equipment. And the same thing applies, it's just a one-time profit and buying it back will be expensive. So the last option is to reduce the workforce. Your production is proportional to your workforce, since the productivity of a single worker is fairly stable on average. Say, if one worker produces 1000 hex nuts per day, then 10 workers will produce 10,000 hex nuts per day. Simple, right? Proportional. Your expenses will stay low as long as you don't start to hire again. So you fire 25% of your workforce and get your 750,000 hex nuts per year. And once you need to scale back up, there are plenty of workers waiting behind the gates of your factory. Again, simple. So layoffs become a good choice for industrialists. And then stock experts learn that. And they still believe that. That's the problem, since we are not in the industrial age anymore. Today, knowledge and discovery economy. In the 60s of the 20th century, the father of American corporate management, Peter Drucker, noticed that a new kind of workers emerged. He called them knowledge workers. Most of them we call now engineers. In contrast to factory workers, good engineers are very hard to find, expensive to hire, and expensive and risky to fire. Yes, your expenses for the workforce are reduced, but once the economy is back, you will incur huge expenses hiring good people back, good engineers back. Remember, they are very hard to find. And that's not all. You see, in contrast to factory workers, good engineers don't work on a million small projects. They essentially work on one huge project, your company business. So it's not, your output is not proportional to the number of your people. So when you fire 25% of your people, you don't get 75% of your former business. Most likely you will get just a broken business. And in most cases, you don't even know where it is broken. You see, the people whom you fired, they know that. They've broken that. But they are, well, fight, right? But stock exchange fund managers and other stock speculators don't know that, and frankly they don't care. By the letter of law, they are owners, but they're not investors. They're pirates. They'll kill your business just to get a few extra points of profits right now, today. And we know how their layoffs look like. Alright? Here it is.